Welcome. I'm Tuni Schartner, for those of you who don't know me. I'm the Executive Director of District Hall Providence, which is our awesome space here, and Venture Café Providence, which is our signature Thursday programming. So welcome to this session. It is Cultivating Innovation, Informal Conversations with Rhode Island's Economic Gardener. That's me. I try to keep this as similar to what you would experience if you were here in the flesh, in person, in our district hall space. It's, we're pretty casual. We love to connect people to the resources they need to grow, to each other, to programs. And having said that, I already called out Colleen, but Joe, I don't know if you've met Colleen yet. She and Rebecca run, sales for CIC Providence. So that would be great if she could get CIC Providence in here, because such beautiful offices and workspace and like co-working memberships that are, I call it the best deal in the state. For $300, you can dip your toes in and get an idea for what it's like and have a co-working membership and access to all the amazing amenities like the kitchens on every floor. And although Colleen, Amy was pretty bummed out yesterday, there's no chocolate in there, just FYI.
In the kitchen?
No.
It gets snatched up quickly, so maybe
Did you hit all three kitchens, Amy? Maybe on the fourth floor.
I'm not gonna go upstairs.
Earlier this week, we did definitely have chocolate. We had Gigi's pretzels in our kitchens starting on Tuesday, and I don't know if they last much beyond Tuesday.
No, and I don't come in until Wednesday, so tomorrow next week.
I'll have to check for you and grab some, Amy. So, Colleen, so in this half-hour session, we talk about what's going on in the community. It's like the connective tissue to continue to keep the community engaged with each other and sharing information. So something new that's happening with CIC that we're pretty excited about is new programming, right? Once a month starting in September.
Yeah, we were just talking about this yesterday. So starting in September, CIC is going to be actually conducting the Thursday programming through Venture Café and in partnership with Venture Café. So Tuni and Amy and Rebecca and I sat down and we're kind of fleshing out some ideas yesterday. We're already starting to get super excited about that. So look out for more information about what we'll be offering, but it will be the first Thursday of every month. Starting in
September.
Yeah. And before that, I guess we're also just really excited about tonight, the first hybrid session for Venture Café Providence, and featuring our GM Rebecca Weber in the session about the future of the Innovation and Design District.
It's going to be great. So those of you who can join us, I think we have a few spots left, maybe, Amy. I don't know if people like Jim have pre-registered and Valerie Larkin. Because I know they're both coming. But
no, how do I register?
I'll email you the in-person Eventbrite link just so we can get your name tag printed beforehand, or I'll write it out ahead of time. I don't know if we're done printing, Amy.
We are done. We were done printing as of so for those of you who are used to the in-person Venture Cafe experience, this is going to be the friends and family soft launch opening of the Venture Cafe experience as we kind of get used to practicing and getting back into the space. But the conversation is going to be fantastic. It's Rebecca Weber, who's the general manager of CIC Providence, as Colleen said, Caroline Skunsick of the I-195 revitalization district. Sorry, thank you. And Bonnie Nickerson from the city of Providence. And we're going to talk about, just what this great space, this gift of the I-195 land is and what the future of that looks like for the city of Providence and the state of Rhode Island. So please, if you can't join us in person, please join us online from 4 to, the conversation will start at 5 o'clock tonight, but the
we just dropped in. So in the chat is the in-person link first, Jim, and then the virtual Eventbrite link if you want to pre-register for that. It's going to be a great conversation. So basically the new format we're previewing tonight, then as Amy said, we're kicking it off officially the second Thursday in May 13th. 4 o'clock, we'll open up our bar and our lounge area up here for in-person networking. And then from 5 to 6, we'll move over into our event space for the new curated conversation series called The Future Of. So we're doing a beta test tonight, so we can work the kinks out, as to Amy's point. So I just brought in a couple cases of really good beer, most of it local, and we have some Gooseneck Vineyards wine, and we're figuring it all out in this, post-COVID, we'll call it. new reality that we're in. So yeah, we're very excited. And we have some CICers from Boston coming down, right, Colleen?
Yeah, we do. We have a couple of them here already. A couple of our Cambridge colleagues are working from the space today and in anticipation of attending Venture Cafe.
Awesome. So it'll be fun if you can make it. We're trying to cap it to 25 pre-registered in person through May. And then hopefully by June, most people will have their vaccinations and we can bump it up to 50 in person. We do have a lot of space. We have 8,000 square feet, so we can separate people. But for that event, we're trying to do the best we can, and that's why we wanted to cap it at 25 for these initial, I guess, months, today and then May. So so that's that, and that's exciting. And Monica, what do we have going at Tech Collective besides
Hi.
Creosa settling into her new role as executive director and the team?
Yeah, so lots of good change, good energy. And I've got Creosa on your calendar, Tuni, so she will be joining for the April 29th call.
Okay.
So we can look forward to that. But again, programming with Linda Pritchard from Your Kind of Genius, Listening and Underrated Superpower is the 21st. And then we
Mark
also
was
have
just
for the,
referring to that in his sales workshop.
oh,
right?
okay,
What we have
awesome.
2 of and 1 of, Mark? 2 ears, 1 mouth.
And yeah, and then for those people who are into data, we have Todd Knapp from Envision Technology is presenting on the 22nd, the Power BI and data analytics value proposition.
We should all be focused on data, by the way. And Todd is super engaging. He's such a good presenter.
Yes, he is. He loves technology. He describes himself as like the kid on the block with all the new toys. So you always get a little bit of some innovation that you didn't know about happening with Todd, and they'll do a great job. That session, that Power BI session, is a free session from 2 to 3 p.m. on the 22nd. So
How was your
is
email session with Ocean?
intense. They did a real hands-on DMARC, SPF, dive deep into this is how you do it, let people do it. So there was definitely a request for another one of those sessions, like a part 2, now that you've made those definitions. But by early next week, we should have that session up on our YouTube page.
Perfect.
So for those of you who are looking to, if you missed it, Ocean provides internet connection for our hospitals, our municipalities, schools, government, and they shared with us on really how to keep your email safe, and just to make sure, for those of you who are sending things out and it's not getting to the other person and it's landing in quarantine, they shared with us the why and then the how to fix that situation. So
Yeah, can you make sure you send us the link for that, Monica?
yes,
And
I'll put
Amy,
it up.
why don't we work on a future workshop, like not as intense version of that, but with Tech Collective and Ocean to do a workshop on, it's such an important topic that I don't think people are really thinking about, and it would be great for us to get that on the calendar.
I'll do. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. Hey, Shaheen. There's a lot going on in Cambridge today.
What's happening, gang?
Next week. So the silver lining of our new reality is in this virtual space, we've been able to have complementary times for our programming in Providence and Cambridge. So we run our virtual program 10:30 to 1. Cambridge starts at 1:30, goes to 5. Pretty soon, we're going to be 4 to 6 in the in-person and hybrid. But Shaheen starts at 1:30 to 2 with a similar session to this. And I strongly recommend it. It's a really good way to connect and network. And we've all made so many great connections. And Shaheen, and I will say this, let us know in the chat or raise your hand if you want me to call you out. Like, if you need help, like, let us know what you need. If you need to be connected to someone, Shaheen, you do such a good job with that I want to bring more of that to this session. So strongly recommend that. And Evelyn just dropped a link to the Cambridge calendar as well, so you can sign up. What else is going on today after the 1:30 to 2?
So I learned from the best, and the fact that Evelyn just dropped everything into the chat is pretty indicative of that, because I prepared a similar list. So great minds think alike. Today in Cambridge, we've got a good program going on. After this similar type of session that we got going on with Tuni, we've got diversity and inclusive leadership and design. We've got one of our friends from Harvard Business Publishing with us today, who's going to talk about the secret language of value, how you communicate what your value proposition is, not just kind of widgets, but actually communicating the value there. And then from the Boston Globe and innovation leader, we've got Scott Kersner, who's going to be doing a Cambridge innovation game show. Basically, there's been a lot of good innovation and startups coming out of the Cambridge area. So we want to see if everyone knows about this. It's going to start from way back when Alexander Graham Bell started the first telephone, the Bell Atlantic Company, or is it Atlantic Bell? I often forget, but this is why we have this going on today. So we got a fun agenda for today. I'm really looking forward to that, capping it off with the innovation game show. A couple things that are coming up in innovation studio land. On the 22nd, we had a programming change. So we went to a pitch scrub. Tuni's idea of getting people prepared is to scrub them off. We don't want no scrubs. So if you know anyone who's looking to pitch investors and also get just feedback for the company, apply on the second link. And then in 2 weeks, one of the best parts of Venture Cafe is that we're a global organization. And if you want to assess a new market, you can do that through our innovation bridges. On the 29th, we're going to be focusing on medtech. And I know Rhode Island has been cultivating, especially with the help of Tuni and Venture Cafe, the medtech innovation forum. So if you know anybody who wants to participate in that, the link is also there. Feel free to share with your friends. And thank you for your time. Looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah, so there are a lot of links here, everyone, but if you know any startups that need to practice, strongly recommend it. We're going to have 10 pitches, 3-minute pitches, 5 minutes of feedback from the judges. Isn't that the format we're going with, Shaheen?
Indeed.
So great. Like right now we have our pre-accelerator program running through Roxbury. So we're strongly suggesting to them that they, practice their pitches in this. We have so many awesome accelerators. We have the Rhode Island Business Competition coming up. That is actually, when is the date of that?
May 6th.
May 6th. Oh, that's the same day we're doing the,
7. Yep.
Yep, from 5 to 7. So we're hoping that those startups will be pitching. Joe, you might want to practice again. You're an awesome pitcher. And so any of you, if you mentor Matt and Mark and people like us, if we have any businesses that could use a practice, it's a great opportunity. And Cambridge, you do get a different audience in Cambridge as well. So you never know who might be in the audience. It's awesome. Thanks, Shaheen. Looking forward to, Amy and I always try to jump on at 1:30 and looking forward to today's as always. And what do we have coming up today, Amy, for those that might be on now and don't know, because I know like Erica has a new startup. She's an established business, but she's launching a new, she might want to hear what we have coming up.
Yeah, today is our small business support marketing workshops with in partnership with Newport Interactive Marketing. Hi, Suzanne. So we're doing this quarterly with Newport Interactive Marketing, and we'll drop the link to the last one in the chat so we can you can watch our last partnership event. But so Suzanne is bringing Rhonda, who just signed on. Hi, Rhonda. And Mark Collins to go through some SEO and email marketing best tips, practices, flash talk kind of exchange.
NIM is amazing. For those of you who don't know about NIM RI, it's Newport Interactive Marketers. And Suzanne started it, I think, 11 years ago. And I've been a part of that group for a long time, and Rhonda's part of it, and Mark, and it's the most collegial, collaborative group of professionals. As Suzanne often says, like back before I was an executive director for these amazing organizations, Suzanne and I did similar work, but we never thought of each other, in a competitive way. We were always collaborative and always learning from each other. And it's just a great partner there she is in our ecosystem, and we love collaborating with the NIM RI folks quarterly to just bring knowledge capital and information to small businesses and big businesses, right?
Yeah. Anybody who's looking to learn something new, so much has changed with local SEO and email marketing in particular. We thought, okay, we don't need to wait for a full deep dive, although Rhonda's going to do a deep dive exclusively into email marketing in May, but we just kind of wanted to get everybody thinking about it because these two pieces have become really crucial. I've been listening into MarTech and a lot of the, Search Love and all the conferences that are all virtual now. And one thing that keeps coming up is how scary it's going to be when we don't have cookies. So we got to really focus on our knitting and making sure that we have all our systems set up. And email marketing and local SEO, particularly Google My Business, is really, really important. So we wanted to jump in and make sure everybody knows about that. But thank you so much, Amy, for the intro, and Tuni. And I miss seeing you guys in person.
I know. I was in Newport last night.
Oh, you are?
I was at the Brenton Hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Like I pronounced that too much. Like I like the Brenton, I should say.
Brenton, yeah.
So nice. And I was just commenting with Mark before he started his 10:30 workshop on how many we keep hearing how many businesses are shuttering during the pandemic, right? But there are so many businesses that have opened during the pandemic and continue to open. Shaheen, I see your hand up there. What's going on?
Yeah, I have a quick question for the gang here. Something I need to do for one of our programs coming up. We run the Food and Supply Chain Immersion Seed Program. I want to travel around New England and visit farms, logistics suppliers, things like that. Kind of want to make a marketing roadshow of it, like, take pictures on tractors and all that kinds of things. So if I'm going to do that in Vermont, but I also want to hit up Rhode Island, can I get the group's suggestions on good places like farmers markets and trade-based farmers markets around Rhode Island that would be good to hit?
Quidnick,
Yeah,
you want
definitely.
to talk about that one?
Simmons Farm, okay.
I'm going to throw my LinkedIn profile, message me, because I was just actually talking to a farmer last night who's putting in a grant to expand their market placement, and they would be great there. And plus, I've been going to the farmers market since I first started the growers market, so I can definitely connect you with a bunch of people.
You know what I'm
Awesome.
thinking? What's good is an app that our friends created, and it's awesome. And they do distribution for all like the farmers markets, like the individual businesses so local growers and purveyors. Jordan and I can hook you up with Matt, and they'd be great because they're kind of like a huge, they have a huge network.
And they've taken off due to the pandemic. They've had a very strong increase in business due to the pandemic. So, you know,
what's which was super interesting last night. So I went to the Brenton Hotel because our friend Kristen Gibson, who's Newport Living and Lifestyles, is doing a sizzle reel for our friend Nikki Groom, who's a professional coach who just wrote a book. So I was, the group of women at the table while Nikki was speaking to hundreds of people, pretending. So I'm at this table with these 5 other women, and we had all used at least 2 meal services, right? Like Blue Apron and Feast and Fettle and like Misfits and all these others. And I was just thinking, like, pre-pandemic, like some of them existed, right? And it was slow growth. Like, what's good, right, Jordan? Like, they were like, why is this taking so long? And it kind of blew my mind that every single one of us had used at least 2, or is it still enrolled in at least 2? I thought that was just, just a small group of people, and we're all activating these new business models. So very cool. Dare to Dream Ranch. I don't know if that would be, because they are gardening right now. And Dare to Dream Ranch, our friend Karen Dalton started that. It's 501c3. It's a farm to support veterans. And so they have horses, and so they have equine therapy and all kinds of awesome stuff. But she's continuing to say yes. Like if veterans say, what about woodworking, or what about like growing vegetables? So cool. They're awesome. Sky Dog Farm, that's a good one. Yeah, if you like
chocolate milk, I suggest going to Wright's Dairy Farm too.
Who still drinks dairy milk? Like who?
They have the best chocolate milk.
I mean, I don't. My hand should be down. I drink oat milk. You do? So you still drink milk? Someone commented the other day on how weird it. Like I saw someone with a gallon of milk at the grocery store. I was like, so weird. People still drink milk.
I buy 2
love it all.
a week. I mean, I have little kids, but I probably drink a gallon of it a week.
You do? Well, you're from Wisconsin. That's like,
Oh, that explains it.
In my blood. I drink oat milk too, but no, I don't buy oat milk. I just drink it usually at CIC because it's in the fridge.
I did bring my granola and berries today, knowing that there's oat milk in the fridge here, Colleen. So thank you for that. It's great to be a CIC member.
That's all Shanice and Christian, but yeah, I'm thankful for it here too.
Shaheen, we have Cambridge CIC people here today for our beta in-person event.
No, I just heard. Who's in the building?
We have Lauren Viverka and Sarah Moore in here.
Nice. Oh, Sarah's here. That's awesome.
Yeah, really exciting. It's exciting for me because having started during COVID, I've met Lauren before in person, but I've only ever met Sarah via Zoom. So it's an interesting new world.
I met her when I first started in January of 2020 or February, and then I've only seen her in Zoom. So that's great. Fantastic.
Last time I saw Sarah, when I first joined Venture Cafe, they needed somebody else to help supplement their kind of like intramural crew team. So we rode together a couple times, and that was the last time I saw her. So hope to get back to that soon. And if you could just say hello for me, please, that'd be awesome.
Definitely.
You can join us virtually and say hello from your Zoom, Shaheen. Or you could
100%
just
can.
grab the train and join us.
It's 45 minutes, right?
You can't because you're going to be running live programming. So I guess you can.
I'm good, but I'm not that good. Can't do all that. Yeah.
I have a question. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, I was saying, please go ahead.
So I have a question about transportation. I was very proud because Rhode Island is just weird when it comes to public transportation. And from being from Southern Rhode Island, it's like you take the bus, is what most people would say. So I was a very proud RIPTA bus rider. I would get it, at Wickford Junction train station and get dropped off right next to our building. Obviously, with the pandemic, I stopped doing that, and I've had my first vaccination, so I don't know. I probably go back to that, but. Can you raise your hand? Like, would any of you be interested in public transportation if you're Rhode Islanders? Like, I'm curious, or drop in the chat your thoughts on public transportation. Like, yeah, it's so weird, our obsession with cars, right? And needing to own cars and all of that. The public transit here is awful, says Evelyn, who goes to Salve Regina University. Yeah, it's hard to connect from Aquidneck Island, right, Evelyn? Because I know I was taking the URI subsidized bus at 62, and it was super easy. Very pro public transit. It's my backup to biking on rainy days like today. Where do you live, Colleen? Do you live in Providence?
Yeah, up in Mount Hope. So
okay.
Online is super easy for me to take. But yeah, I feel like an outlier being, relatively new to Providence myself, and being one of the very few people I think that doesn't have a car, and people are always shocked by that. And I'm like, it's such a small city. I don't feel like I need a car, but yeah, I do think the public transit here is pretty good.
Yeah, so cat out of the bag, we will have some transportation programming coming up in partnership with CIC in Q3 or Q4. But very, very curious about that. And really, we need to be working on it. We are working on it. Amy and I just had a really great meeting with a clean tech organization called the Acadia Center. And they do a lot in transportation. And I think that Rhode Island gets an F. And I know we're working on it, but I was just curious about that. Is there anything else before we transition over to this amazing panel discussion, Amy?
Can we just call out Juan for a second? Because Juan is on, and
dude,
got lots of stuff going on.
Hey Juan, you got it, right? You got the new toy?
Yeah, I did get the new toy, and I'm trying to sit in the background. Thanks, Amy. I should have just kept my camera off. I said, you got a crowd, Amy, behind you. Where are you at? But yeah, so we had what they call a drop last Thursday, 1,000 units. We sold out actually. We went on sale at 8 a.m. We sold by 11 a.m. all 1,000 units worldwide. But mine came in yesterday. I made sure I grabbed one. It came in yesterday from Los Angeles. So hi everyone, I'm Juan Wilson. I don't know many of the faces here. I know working with Tuni and Amy on the advisory committee. Venture Cafe, and I'm a serial / would say creative entrepreneur. So sorry I'm late. I was in a meeting with the standing meeting with the mayor of Providence every Thursday. So, but I was happy to attend today. So if you want to learn more, thank you. Whoever put in my LinkedIn, definitely take a look at my LinkedIn, and I'm
Do
looking
you have a
forward.
picture? Do you have a picture of what you just dropped, or like that short video of your?
It's actually on my so my LinkedIn. I put a picture of the unit, and then as far as what was purchased, it's called. I work with a company in Rhode Island, ironically called In Music, and one of their brands is Akai Pro, which they make this finger drumming unit, and we partnered with Supreme Clothing. Supreme's really good at scarcity products. So they sell out. They've done disposable cameras. They even did a box of Wheaties 2 weeks ago, and that's just been their market. They were actually acquired in October for like $2.7 billion, the brand itself. And so we have some partnerships going up, and this was the first one that I have put together, and we have some more coming in Q3 and Q4.
Very
So,
cool. So finger drumming, what is it? A finger drumming board? Is that what you call
yeah,
it?
it's what they call a MIDI player. So it was a production piece of equipment in the studio where you create patterns and beats and loops, and so it's a piece of hardware that's self-contained, so you can play it anywhere. It has a built-in speaker, so it's not attached to the computer in the studio anymore, so musicians can use it anywhere. And Akai is known for making these probably for 25 plus years, if not 30 years, longer than that. They've been making these MIDI players, and like I said, ironically, they're a Cumberland-based company. Their world headquarters is in Rhode Island. And I've been working with them about 6 years. 6 years as a client to one of my artists, who I'll share the video, who premiered this unit last Thursday, and he has the second highest views this year for the brand on Instagram, and it's still climbing. So
Very cool. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing up my toy.
Yeah, I love it. So before we hand it over, I just want to say hi, Charles Havens. I'm glad you joined us from R&D Technology. We have so many hidden gems, right? That company's based in Cumberland. R&D Technologies is tucked away in the Quonset Business Park, and they make all kinds of really cool 3D, well, they sell 3D.
Printers.
Yes, thank you. Printers, it was an elusive word there for a minute. Well, welcome. We're going to hand it over. You made it just in time for this really great session.